It's our favorite time of the stream. It's the Jeremy Brie Larson basement pee hour. So Jeremy, we didn't watch the video that this is actually a response to. Jeremy, a few weeks ago, reported on a rumor that was bullshit that said Brie Larson was going to be recast in Captain Marvel 2. Nonsense, for obvious reasons. Marvel had their little show at the Disney shareholder event, and they confirmed, yeah, Brie Larson's going to be in Captain Marvel 2, of course. I don't know if this is before or after, but this is Jeremy doing a video about Brie Larson responds to firing rumor and Captain Marvel 2 director blasts Marvel. So let's see what he has to say on the topic that he is. Honestly, there's so little Brie Larson content from him. It's nice that he's finally covering her.
Hello everyone, Jeremy here from The Quartering, and Brie Larson has responded to rumors of her recast in a way that only Brie Larson could, and the director of Captain Marvel 2 has already begun to stir the pot with fans and anti-fans of the Captain Marvel 2 franchise. I can't wait for Captain Marvel 2 to come out, although it doesn't appear to be a part of Phase 4. It's easily, and I mean like by a order of magnitude, the most anticipated Marvel movie that I have coming up. I mean, everything else I couldn't care less about. Doctor Strange 2, okay, maybe, but I'm long past going to see Marvel movies in theaters. I just don't feel the same way that I used to after Endgame and after all the various marketing hijinks that they've been up to. That said, I still love the...
I don't even know what marketing hijinks he's referring to, but okay, that's fine. You don't have to like the Marvel movies, Jeremy.
The original comic books, the original fans and licenses, or the original fandom. And I support it by putting a lot of different Marvel art on my walls via Displate, which I have an amazing Christmas offer for you. There's still time to get your Displates before Christmas, and I have a massive discount for you. Check this out. Huge shout out to this video almost swap it by using so much for supporting Displate. Their support of this channel is paramount to my ability to keep pumping out content and keep people employed, like my editor and my thumbnail person. Now, a week ago,
Jeremy has a whole person that he hires just for thumbnails? Holy shit. I mean, let me see, how many videos does he put out a day? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, let's assume we'll assume 4 to 7, okay? I guess. It seems interesting to me that Jeremy's keeping someone afloat just on thumbnails, although they probably do thumbnails for multiple people, which will also explain why a lot of other Chud media channels have very similar thumbnails, I guess. Oh, I don't know. Jeremy's newer thumbnails have seemed, and this is just a critique of, you know, my own personal opinion, they seem very busy to me, and that's the point. It's supposed to be eye-catching, but I don't know. I just find them a little there's too much going on, you know?
There was a rumor that said Brie Larson was out or due to be recast as Captain Marvel.
Again with Cosmic Book News. This is a website that Jeremy has cited multiple times, who's been wrong multiple times and has caused Jeremy to be wrong. And it's so interesting because it's almost like this weird Chud media incestuous loop, because Cosmic Book News has also cited Jeremy before. So, like, they'll sometimes cite, like, a 4chan post, and then Jeremy will read that, and they'll take something Jeremy says, and they'll post that as a story. It's just like a feedback loop of absolute Chud bullshit. It's so weird.
In the franchise. Now, at the time, I said it, and I meant it, that I felt like there was little to no chance of this happening. Just even take out the adversarial relationship that Brie Larson has with some of the fandom. Take that out. Outside of the Incredible Hulk, I'm trying to think of another possible recast that's happened in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
War Machine?
And quite honestly, one that's anywhere near recent history. I mean, the Edward Norton Incredible Hulk was like a distant memory, and I just don't see it. Ultimately, they're going to have to try and bring new people on and to carry on the suit. Iron Man, Captain America, these are characters that they need to keep going. But there was an article, and I'm not saying it's wrong. The rumor, I felt like there wasn't a huge chance of Marvel recasting, in their opinion, according to what they say, the literal face of Marvel in Captain Marvel. And now it would appear that Brie has responded to, I don't know, this rumor in her own little way. And also Nia DaCosta, the director of the film, decided it would be a great time to start poking at fans. Brie Larson responds to Captain Marvel news. It may be December, but last night felt like we were inside Hall H at San Diego Comic-Con as Disney unveiled a slate of film and television projects that quite simply no other studio is capable of. From Disney to Pixar to Star Wars to Marvel, the list goes on. And one of the big movies we learned more about was Captain Marvel 2. And while fans are certainly excited, so is Brie Larson and director Nia DaCosta. Now, you might know Nia DaCosta from a movie nobody's seen, the Candyman remake, and now she's been handed a $1 billion franchise. So we'll have to see how that turns out.
That's pretty typical for movies nowadays. You'll make a smaller budget thing, not no budget typically, but you'll make something a little bit smaller. James Gunn was this too, and he went on to make the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, which are really great. Those are some of the best Marvel movies. He actually started working for Troma, if you're aware of Troma and the Toxic Avenger and those movies. Tromeo and Juliet, all that stuff. But yeah, Marvel's been doing this. They'll take someone who did like maybe a pretty successful or at least artistically sound, technically sound film, and they'll pick that person and say, okay, you're in charge of this franchise, specifically because they know that they're talented, at least enough that they can point the camera in the right direction. But they can also be told what to do by Disney. Because they had a situation, I think they learned a lesson, and I'm not saying this is right or wrong, because the monopoly, effective monopoly, I'll say, because Disney owns, the biggest franchises on the planet. I know there are other studios. But they had a problem with Ant-Man because Edgar Wright, I think, was originally supposed to make the Ant-Man movie, and then he dropped out because Disney wanted him to insert a lot of MCU stuff that was set up for other MCU movies, and Edgar Wright was not having it. He just wanted to make an Ant-Man movie. So I think they're now wary of getting, like, directors who have more of a padded IMDb page, people with more clout in the industry that can kind of push back against them. So you get someone who's technically competent, who can direct a film and run a set, but also they don't have enough clout in the industry that they can kind of push back against the whims of Disney. Again, I'm not saying this is good artistically speaking, because I think it's better to let, directors do what they want, and studio interference can cause issues. We see that with the DCEU movies a lot. But at the end of the day, like, I don't know. I understand it as a strategy as a corporation. Artistically, that's a whole other story, but that's the reason they do that.
Capitalism. Fair. There are plenty of, directors that have been around forever that continue to direct terrible movies, so experience doesn't necessarily mean anything, but Marvel and DC continue to bring in these young kind of woke director types, like we saw with Birds of Prey. That flopped, and we'll have to see what happens with Captain Marvel 2. It has been previously reported that
Birds of Prey didn't get anyone to go to it. First of all, because the title was terrible, evidenced by the fact that after the first couple days it was out, they decided to retitle it. And secondly, it was attached to Suicide Squad, which is one of the worst big-budget movies I've ever seen. Suicide Squad has some of the most bizarre editing of any movie I have ever seen. And it's like a multiple hundreds of millions of dollar film, and the editing is just trash. So I think Birds of Prey failing has more to do with its attachment to the DCEU than anything else, but whatever. Jeremy's got to get on that get woke go broke train and act like it's because of that and not because of a myriad of other factors, even though the movie's not really that woke. It's just like, a female-led superhero movie. whatever.
Candyman director Nia DaCosta would helm Captain Marvel 2, but the detail was not confirmed by Marvel until last night. Along with confirmation came news that the MCU's Miss Marvel, Iman Vellani, and Teyonah Parris, who will debut as Monica Rambeau in WandaVision, will also appear in the film. Following the news,
that's pretty cool. For those who don't know, Miss Marvel is a character in the comics who gets some inspiration from Captain Marvel. That's why she ends up calling herself Miss Marvel, and she gets a symbol similar to Captain Marvel when she called herself Miss Marvel. And then the other individual, Monica Rambeau, in the comics was also Captain Marvel at one point. She has a different name that she takes once, you know, there's a different Captain Marvel. But interesting. Basically three Captain Marvel type characters in the movie. I'm sure Jeremy will love that.
Brie Larson.
Oh, Monica Rambeau was also the little girl who was the daughter of Brie Larson's friend in that movie. They were fighter pilots together, but now she's grown up.
Shared a text thread with director DaCosta that showed both women are absolutely ready for this, even if the rest of the world isn't. And you can see Brie sharing text message. I think this is Nia on the right, probably. Let's do this. Can't wait. Let me add Iman and Teyonah. OMG, is the world ready? They better get ready. Oh, no, she must be on the left. With all the news have been rumored, there's some cases that even reported by reliable sources that this was the first time that Marvel had officially confirmed most of it. Not only did we learn for sure that the new Miss Marvel was who the new Miss Marvel was going to be, we learned that she would be making the leap from Disney Plus to the big screen almost immediately. Flop incoming, I promise you.
Jeremy, you said this. Why does Jeremy never learn his lesson? He said the same exact thing about Captain Marvel 1, and it went on to be the 23rd highest grossing movie of all time. It made $1.1 billion. Jeremy, please, learn your lesson. Why? Why you be like this? Stop. Ugh.
After leading her own series that will debut in late 2021, she'll co-star in Captain Marvel 2. Oh, okay, sorry, it's not a solo film. I haven't got to all the Marvel news yet, which I'll cover later today. She'll co-star in Captain Marvel 2 about a year later, which is set to hit theaters in 2022. With the addition of Monica Rambeau brings yet another character from the Disney Plus series. Should be the first one we get to meet, as WandaVision is set to arrive soon. Now, to me, the big question is, will people still remember? Will they be able to spin up the hype machine, especially after Hollywood has now basically abandoned movie theaters?
Probably. I don't think Captain Marvel's 2, this says 2022, so we have 2 years. The vaccine's already being, like, pushed out. I would imagine by 2022, theaters will be back going, at least in some... I would imagine by 2022, especially November 2022, I would think we'd be back to some kind of normalcy. Again, I don't know if the theater landscape will change because of COVID. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But either way, by 2022, I'd imagine they'd be, you know, doing relatively well, at least in places where theaters are still a thing that didn't close because of COVID. God, it's going to be so funny watching Captain Marvel 2 actually still make money. It might not make as much. I'm actually thinking after Endgame, because Endgame already came out. I'm sure a lot of people are using that as a jumping off point for the MCU. So I think moving forward, the MCU movies might make less money overall, which is fine. I never expected it to last forever. I love the Marvel movies, but, you know, I get it. I think they'll have success on Disney Plus. I think the Loki show will be really popular because people really like Loki. But yeah, it might make a little less money than Captain Marvel 1, but it'll still make good money. But I'm sure no matter what, if it makes less money than Captain Marvel 1, Jeremy will call it a win and be like, haha! It only made $900 million. Get woke, go broke.
So then we have the director. I'm not sure exactly what this is.
Have I seen the Wonder Woman movies? I saw the first one. The second one isn't out until Christmas, I thought, on HBO. But
Marvel Studios says Brie Larson returns as Carol Danvers in Marvel Studios. Captain Marvel, directed by Nia DaCosta, joining the cast and recently announced Miss Marvel, blah, blah, blah. To which Nia DaCosta replies, "Tag me, you cowards." I don't know, because to me it was clearly a joke, but this article says Captain Marvel 2 director trolls cowards. Captain Marvel 2 director trolls and calls out cowards on Twitter from the following casting news. Following the Marvel announcements from Kevin Feige and official confirmation, Nia DaCosta directing Captain Marvel, DaCosta tweeted, "Take me, you cowards." No worries, though, as it turns out, DaCosta was simply having fun. Tweeting this and was like, oh no, people don't know. Like, I don't think that was directed necessarily at the quote-unquote haters.
Jeremy, you titled your video, Brie Larson responds to firing rumor and Captain Marvel 2 director blasts Marvel. Clickbait much? Jesus.
Captain Marvel, Marvel is also well aware of the Brie Larson Captain Marvel controversy. While DaCosta might be simply have been having fun with the tweets, it does confirm that DaCosta, Marvel, and Kevin Feige are well aware of everything surrounding Brie Larson and Captain Marvel. Otherwise, why tweet what she tweeted? Prior to the Disney Investor Day, with a big rumor hit net offering that Disney isn't at all happy with Brie Larson and might replace Larson following Captain Marvel 2, or that the character might be retired completely. What's particularly interesting is that the rumor offers a woman of color might replace Brie Larson. And as announced the Disney Investor Day presentation, Teyonah Parris is starring in Captain Marvel 2 as Monica Rambeau, who in the comics has gone by Captain Marvel actually prior to Carol Danvers. Again, there's no freaking way Disney removes Brie Larson. Not happening.
At some point they might, like if you're after Captain Marvel 3 or something, because again, I'm sure Brie Larson wants to do other stuff other than the Marvel movies. But like, yeah, I don't see any reason why they would yet. But who knows? I don't know what Brie Larson's feelings on the movies are.
No chance. All of the Marvel Studio news coming out of the Walt Disney Company's 2020 Investor Day. You had just a massive, you had a WandaVision trailer, you have Falcon and the Winter Soldier, obviously you've got Loki, you've got What If, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, revealed additional staff, Miss Marvel introduces Iman Vellani, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, as Kamala Khan.
Miss Marvel could be fun. Before the Avengers video game came out, because Kamala was a pretty big part of the game. This is before we knew the game sucked. Either way, I read the Miss Marvel comics, the first run, just to get a sense of like what's going on with that character. I find it interesting. She reminds me a lot of like Spider-Man in that it's like a young kid dealing with getting powers and kind of having interpersonal drama with friends and family, balancing, you know, the superhero stuff with home life and school. I enjoyed it. I think it's cute. The TV show could be good, although I assume it'll be aimed at a younger audience than me, you know, so it'll be not exactly my demo, but it'll probably be good.
The She-Hulk comedy series, which just seems bizarre to me. Why make it a comedy series? But okay.
The She-Hulk in the comics has a pretty big sense of humor. She also breaks the fourth wall, which is interesting. Literally in the comics, She-Hulk has smashed through comic book pages before. I'm curious if any of that will translate to the screen, but it'll be interesting. The person who plays the main characters in Orphan Black is going to be playing She-Hulk, so hopefully that'll be good.
And you've got Marvel Studios to tackle Mark Spector's story, The Moon Knight. And Secret Invasion brings Samuel L. Jackson and Ben Mendelsohn back together. Riri Williams is headed to Disney Plus in the new Ironheart series. I mean, Jesus. Basically, if you turn on Disney Plus, you will have innumerable Star Wars and Marvel programs to watch.
After how good The Mandalorian has been, and no spoilers, by the way, I haven't finished The Mandalorian Season 2. I don't want to know. I don't want to know anything that happens, okay? I'm very excited for these Disney Plus shows because The Mandalorian's been really good. So if these are like half the quality, then we're going to have some real fun TV shows coming out. Again, Disney's evil, but hey, you know. Bread and circuses. I enjoy the circus, you know?
There is, and I feel very confident saying this, 0% chance that there is a high degree of quality among all of these programs, but there's a very strong chance some of them will be good, as we've seen with The Mandalorian. Now, a lot of people want to point at The Mandalorian and say, yeah, The Mandalorian's so good, so therefore you got to give him a chance. Well, I don't know. The last 5 Marvel films I felt were subpar, and the last
I don't agree.
everything Disney has done with Star Wars other than The Mandalorian has been subpar. It feels like The Mandalorian is more of an exception than the rule, but I understand why people want to hold on to it. You've got an I Am Groot series. Christian Bale has now joined Thor Love and Thunder as Gore, the God Butcher. Paul Rudd and Evangeline Lilly. And by the way, I was surprised Evangeline Lilly got recast after she had some spicy freedom-type tweets. Also reported, Captain Marvel 2 will reportedly make Brie Larson the highest-paid actress in a superhero film. I don't know if that's reasonable. Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson, probably more popular. Definitely his.
I don't think that's going to be the case. I think Captain Marvel 2 will make more money than Black Widow. I could be wrong, but I don't know. I think I'm excited for Black Widow, but like I'm more interested in Captain Marvel. I guess I'm more interested in the space stuff for Marvel than I am the espionage, Earth-based stuff, but that's probably a lot of it's because of Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor Ragnarok.
Put more work in, but I think Marvel really, really, really wants Captain Marvel to be a hit.
The first one was. Why wouldn't they expect the second to be as well?
Halle Berry's Catwoman may have been savaged by critics, tanked at the box office, and was almost instantly labeled as one of the worst movies of all time, but the actress still walked away with a $14 million paycheck. The DC adaptation's dismal performance, coupled with Jennifer Gardner's Elektra tanking the following year, swore studios off the notion of female-driven comic book blockbusters for over a decade. Well, both of those were just bad movies, too. Elektra was extraordinarily niche, and Catwoman just sucked. 13 years later, the double whammy of Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman and Brie Larson's Captain Marvel. I forgot, Wonder Woman comes out in like 10 or 12 days, so, that'll be interesting. But here's a really surprising number. So, Gadot received a base salary of $300,000 for Patty Jenkins' first DCEU effort, but wound up making millions on profit participation in back-end deals. She recently pocketed a $10 million bonus when the sequel was sent to HBO Max. Larson, meanwhile, was paid $5 million upfront for her debut as Carol Danvers, and would have also walked away with a whole lot more after the movie raced past $1 billion, and also walked away with a lot more.
It almost sounded like it hurt Jeremy to read the sentence as it passed $1 billion. Like it emotionally gut punched him.
Insiders say, in terms of salary, though, the highest paid actress in history of the superhero genre is Scarlett Johansson, who scooped up $15 million apiece for Avengers follow-up, Age of Ultron, Infinity War, and Endgame as Black Widow. However, she ended up raking a total of $56 million from Endgame, based on performance-related bonuses after it went on to become the biggest pick in history.
Jesus Christ, her agent must be just amazing. How did she get a bigger cut out of the back end than, like, Robert Downey Jr.? That's bonkers. I think Jr. is also, like, a producer on those movies, as per his agreement for, like, the Iron Man movie. Like, he said, I'll take, I'll take a lower pay, but I'll take a back-end cut out of all the other Marvel movies, so he ends up being a producer. Wow. Scarlett Johansson's agent must just be the best fucking agent in Hollywood. Jesus.
And that's crazy. She's just part of an ensemble cast. Now, insider Daniel Rickman is now claiming, though, Larson's earnings for Captain Marvel 2 will see her take the title from her Avengers cohort, which means her deal is worth a minimum of $15 million, while she'll likely also have a lucrative set of clauses in her contract that will guarantee even more based on the movie's earnings. I believe that movie has a 0% chance of making more money than the first Captain Marvel movie. But again, it's difficult to predict where movie theaters are going to be in another 2 years. We've got a new release date for Captain Marvel 2, and it's not entirely set in stone, but Candyman director Nia DaCosta will be taking over directorial duties in the sequel, which is now set to premiere on November 11th, 2022. It's so crazy to be talking about this film 2 years ahead of time. I mean, I guess Disney Plus is bigger than I probably give it credit for, but zoinks, like, going to be almost 40 by the time that comes out. I don't know if I'm going to care about Marvel anymore.
You're already almost 40, Jeremy. You're in your late 30s.
Hopefully Disney Plus puts together some compelling programming. You know, I've got hope for programs like Loki, some of these new ones. It'll be interesting to see how this all shakes out. I'm looking forward to your comments in the comment section down below. Don't forget to leave a like, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
This is... The face he's making is almost like he entered into some sort of Faustian bargain that he didn't think through, and he ended up being trapped on the internet having to talk about Brie Larson every couple weeks. And he just wants to be let out. Like, he made a wish to a genie, and he's like, I want to be part of the entertainment industry, and he's like, haha, done. And he did this. Okay, that's enough Jeremy for the day.